I got the file, read through it, and I got to go meet the boys. And they were small for their age, and they just seemed so young, and they knew what was going on. They knew that they were away from home, and they knew why. The children's mother had some major substance abuse issues. When they were displaced because of Hurricane Katrina, she moved with her 4 children to Colorado, where she had some friends, but not a huge family support system like she did in Louisiana. And she got involved with some people who were involved in drugs and alcohol, and she got involved in substance abuse herself. They were brought into the system because they had been neglected. The school noted that the children hadn't been attending school on a regular basis. They had, I think, over 40 days that they'd been absent, and this was still pretty early in the school year. The school noticed that when they did show up, they weren't being properly cared for. They weren't clean, they didn't have clean clothes. And in talking to them, they had been moving around from place to place. They didn't have a permanent housing situation, and even their temporary housing situations weren't good. There was even a point where they were living out of a car.
When we were with their mom, we usually didn't have like food, but if she got food stamps, she'd always fill up the fridge, but then it'd all go, like in a week it'd be gone, and then we'd have to wait again.
The kids ended up getting placed into foster care. When they ended up with their 3rd foster placement, the family that was taking care of them still had a lot of difficulty with the children acting out. The boys had learned that they didn't always know where their next meal was coming from. So they would, if there was food in the house and they were hungry, they would hoard it. And the foster family had rules about stealing, about taking things without asking. But to them, they weren't stealing food. They had been taught by their mom, you know, that they didn't know where their next meal was coming from. So if you found food, you'd take it and you put it away. And that foster family had a hard enough time that they asked that one of the boys be moved from the house. So I was able to go back and talk to my supervisor at CASA and get in touch with the court and let them know that I thought it was very important that the boys be placed together, be living together, and that these 2 boys, twins, who'd only had each other as constants in their life for their entire life, if they were going to be adopted, needed to be adopted together.
My last foster home, they wanted us to go to a group home instead of here. She prevented us from going to a group home.
These boys were so resilient through everything, and being the CASA on the case, I was a constant through all of that. For these children, I was able to go to any house they were living in and meet with them and find out what they were thinking and what they were feeling and relay that back to the court.
I remember that she would like do anything to let us have fun, and that she'd usually bring us on base so we can have fun.
I mainly remember walking on base a lot, like along the fence. And I remember one time we were walking and she said, let's go meet, I forgot what his name was, but he was like one of the highest ranking generals there was. We went to go meet him, we got a medal from him. I still have it actually. I don't know. I think she just went to the judge and just pretty much said it'd be better for these 2 twins to be together instead of apart for the rest of their lives.
That was probably the best day of the whole case, was the day that they were adopted by the Andersons. After many, many months and after a lot of sad and difficult times for these kids, they were finally where they needed to be, and that they had a family who really cared about them.
Thanks Mom and Dad and Christy.
Other than having children of my own, being a CASA has been the most important and rewarding thing that I've done in my entire life.
Thank you, Christy, for keeping Noah and I together.